Hey guys, hope you're doing well. We are continuing with solving quadratic equations by factoring. What's different today and on the next time also is we have quadratic equations, but they are not set equal to zero. Now, when we've been solving so far, we've been using the zero product property, and it only works when your equation is set equal to zero. So the big change today, it's not a difficult one, but it's that before we can even start factoring, we first need to get rid of whatever is on, in this case, the right-hand side. So you still need to be able to do everything from last time. We're just adding a step kind of before we factor. So let's go ahead and look at number one. So look at this equation. So first off, is it an equation? Yes, it has an equal sign. Is it quadratic? It's quadratic if it has an x squared term, and it does right here, 3x squared, so that makes it quadratic, as long as there's not a higher power than that. So we would like to factor this and then use our zero product property. The problem is it's not equal to zero. Right now it's equal to 4x. So what I need to do is get rid of that. Now we know how to do that. It's not really a big deal at all. Since it's positive 4x, the way we're going to get rid of it is by subtracting it, negative 4x. Now, remember, this goes way back. I know we haven't been solving equations like this for a while, but remember, you're allowed to subtract 4x as long as you do it to both sides. And by that, I mean both sides with equal signs. Remember, we can imagine an imaginary boundary here at the equal sign. So if I do minus 4x on the right side, I still need to do minus 4x on the left side. Now, I'm not just going to put it in front, minus 4x, because 3x squared minus 4x doesn't really do anything. What I need to do is make sure that I'm subtracting. If I'm doing an x term, I need to subtract it under the x term. So over here, this is 14x. I'm going to subtract the 4x from here. So when I do that, what happens? Well, the 3x squared comes down unchanged. 14x minus 4x, well, 14 minus 4 is 10, so this becomes positive 10x. The plus 8 did not change. There was nothing to change it. And then over here on the right-hand side, well, 4x minus 4x is 0. And that's really the new thing today, right? We couldn't factor the way the problem was originally written, or rather, maybe we could have factored, but we couldn't use the zero product property. That's because it was not equal to 0. But now it is. So now that we've made it equal to 0, we're going to do the same steps we've been doing for the past few assignments. We're going to use the Xbox method and then the zero product property. So all the rest of this stuff, hopefully by now you're pretty used to, right? Have A equals 3, B equals 10, C equals 8. Since A is not 1, we know we're going to need the X and the box. So our X with our A times C at the top, 3 times 8 is 24. So we're going to need to make two numbers that multiply to make 24, and B on the bottom is 10. So we need two numbers that multiply to make, or add to make 10, and the numbers that do that are going to be 4 and 6, right? 4 times 6 is 24, 4 plus 6 is 10, so we've met our criteria. All right, let's go ahead and put that into our box. And again, none of this is new, right? That first part in the blue, that was the only thing that's new. All the rest of this you should be pretty up to speed on. So let's go back to that. Remember, how do we fill out our box? The 3x squared is going to go in the top left. The positive 8 is going to go on the bottom right. And then the two numbers we found, the 4 and the 6, in the box become 4x and 6x. Now, to make my 3x squared, obviously you need 3x times x. In this case, I went with the 3x in front. And the reason that makes sense is it's very easy to go from 3x to 6x. Over here, I need the other x to make the x squared. And then I think by now, filling out the rest of this should be pretty straightforward. To turn x into 4x, I need a positive 4 here. To turn 3x into 6x, I need a positive 2. So in my factored form, I get 3x plus 4 times x plus 2. Now, since I did take that first step to make the equation equal to 0, I can now say this is equal to 0. And again, that's important because we want to use the zero product property right now. So let's do that. 3x plus 4 equals 0, and x plus 2 also equals 0. Solving this should not be a big deal. Subtracting 4 from both sides gives me 3x equals negative 4. And then I'll divide by 3. And I'm going to have to write this over on the side, but I end up with x equals negative 4 over 3. So that's one of our answers. Over on the other side, when I subtract 2 here, 0 minus 2 is negative 2. So x equals negative 2 would be my other solution. So let's make sure we box it. So what do we have? I have two answers, which is normally what we have with a quadratic. I have x equals negative 2. I have x equals negative 4 over 3. And that's it. Let me zoom out so you can see everything we've done. And so I could again just point out one more time. What was different here? It wasn't the factoring. Factoring was the same. What's different here is that first step, taking our equation and making sure that it's equal to 0. All right. I didn't give you a lot of problems on this assignment because they are longer. I understand that. Make sure for all of the problems, the first step is get the one side equal to 0. All right. All right. Have at it.